Ooh, what's up, everybody? Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back. 48 Laws of Power discussion series. We got a full house tonight. Let's see who we have. Hello, Cat Ninja. That's funny. Can't guarantee I'll make it, see what you did there. Paul, thank you for the like, and hopefully you can make it, although this one right here, Heidi, Heidi, Heidi. Howdy, howdy. Small Mousin. Okay, that's two of them outsiders. We have, I thought I saw, lurking down here, a Bijou and a Texas Jen. Good to see you both. Oh, Fargets is here. Oh, Fargets is here. What up, Fargets? So, I'm gonna go ahead and warn you guys right now. Mommy Spice, there, the whole gang is showing up. Like nobody does anything on Mondays, huh? Because we got everybody coming in here. Chilomania. We got a two-parter tonight. I didn't realize that this is the very first law that has two parts. I mean, we had four transgressions in the last one. I thought it was going to be really long. It ended up only going an hour. It wasn't that bad. Very straightforward. Law 19, check that one out if you missed it. Law 19 is like super important. This one, I feel, well, is going to be super relevant. Yeah, it's a two-parter. There is a part one and a part two, and I haven't read either part, but I scrolled through it. This could be taking a while. We will see how this goes. But I will be with you till the end of it. So hopefully I still have a voice left by the time we get to the done. Hello, Claire. Did I I don't think I got a notification. When was this stream? I didn't get a notification. I am certain I'm subscribed to you. Um, if I'm not, that's going to be disconcerting. Uh-oh. Where'd my stream ads go? Oh, there it is. Whew. Uh, so, yeah. Law number 20. Do not commit to anyone, because anytime you ally yourself with someone, I'm thinking, this is my thoughts on this. Like, if you ally yourself with someone or even make an enemy of someone, like, you limit the the range of influence you have if you commit your influence to someone else. I've been living by this law for my whole life. Yeah. I mean, I think it's for your own. But anyway, since this is a two-parter and it does look long, and everybody's pretty much already here, I'm not going to wait any longer. I'm just going to get into it. Judgment. It is the fool who always rushes to take sides. Yeah, that's right. Do not commit to any side or cause but yourself. Very, very wise words. By maintaining your independence, you become the master of others, playing people against one another, making them pursue you. So don't be on a team, y'all. That's just that's just the common sense. I mean, in a power situation, like obviously there probably are going to be situations where this is proving forward in that case I'm leaving. I mean, I'm on the outsider, so get out of here. I mean, don't get out of here. Stay here. I'm on team everybody except for them hoes. I mean, there's gonna be people you just you don't want your team to encompass everybody, but you want it to be able to encompass the most people you can. I have a very small team because fuck your big team. My squad, we we committed to each other and we don't follow this law. But I mean, I love my team and my squad, so I'll commit to all of you. I don't commit to anybody. I commit to all of you. Part one: do not commit to anyone, but be courted by all. If you allow people to feel they possess you to any degree, you lose all power over them. By not committing your affections, they will only try harder to win you over. So be a stoic or be a psychopath. Yeah, somebody in one of my comments on one of the earlier videos was like, 48 laws of power are good to know, but best not to be consumed by psychopaths. And I was like, well, I can't argue with you there. I heard somewhere that they banned this book in prisons. I have never verified that. It's just a rumor that I heard, and even that from a very sketchy source. So I think it's describing cats. Yeah, be a cat. Stay aloof, and you gain the power that comes from their attention and frustrated desire. Play the Virgin Queen. Give them hope, but never satisfying. This sounds like be a woman, like basically the teasy ass woman, like that. She playing hard to get because she actually impossible to get. You just ain't figured it out yet. But she gonna keep you in a friend zone and keep you around. hmm Observance of the law. When Queen Elizabeth ascended the throne of England in 1558, so damn, the first Elizabeth was way before the second Elizabeth, who like is the one who just died suddenly recently at the ripe old age of 6,422, if I'm not mistaken. God save the king. Oh, banned in well, Utah's a stupid, stupid place anyway. Like out of all the places that are stupid, Utah's. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's up there with Ohio or nothing, but it's up there. There was much to do about her finding a husband. The issue was debated in Parliament and was a main topic of conversation among Englishmen of all classes. They often disagreed as to whom she should marry, but everyone thought she should marry as soon as possible. For a queen must have a king and must bear heirs for the kingdom, because that is how it goes. The debates raged on for years. Meanwhile, the most handsome and eligible bachelors in the realm, Sir Robert Dudley, the Earl of Essex, Sir Walter Raleigh, vied for Elizabeth's hand. She did not discourage them, but she seemed to be in no hurry, and her hints as to which man might be her favorite often contradicted each other. Thought Queen, I'm sorry, Her Majesty Queen thought. In 1566, Parliament sent a delegation to Elizabeth, urging her to marry before she was too old to bear children. Yes, women, you have a fertility window. Isn't that something? Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, no, I just closed the dang book. Sir Starfus Budafus the Fourth? Mm, hold on, y'all. I can't believe I closed the damn book. That's a oops. We ain't mean to do that. Queen thought I can say that. I have a British friend. Plus, she been dead. She been dead for hundreds of years. I mean, this is the 1500s we're talking about. All right, let's get the book back out. This is the first time I ever slammed the book in my face while doing the stream. Just put the book back to its normal size. Put the book back on the TV. Anyway, yes, women have to bear children before a certain age or they can't anymore. She did not argue, nor did she discourage the delegation, but she remained a virgin nonetheless. The delicate game Elizabeth played with her suitors slowly made her the subject of innumerable sexual fantasies and the object of cultish worship. Gross simps. Guys, simping is not a new condition. It's not a new problem. Guys have been simping since guys have been guys. Gross. The court physician, Simon Foreman, used his diary to describe his dreams of deflowering her. Painters represented her as Diana and other goddesses. The poet Edmund Spenser and others wrote eulogies to the Virgin Queen. She was referred to as the world's empress, that virtuous Virgo who rules the world and sets the stars in motion. This is high quality simping going on here. I mean, uh, I have not. I just recently heard Queen Thought is thought to have been a witch. Like, no, no, I have never heard anything like that. I do believe I've heard speculation on the second Elizabeth, the one that just died, being some sort of Moloch worshipping. devil witch, like not a good kind of witch, but like that, like pure satanic type. I never actually heard anything about, and she's not actually a thought. She's just playing hard to get. And the simps, oh my god, the simps, it's gross. Mouse is definitely listening and fishing. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna start giving you guys quizzes at the end of these because I gotta make sure you're paying attention. In conversation with her, her many male suitors would employ bold sexual innuendo, a dare that Elizabeth did not discourage. She did all she could to stir their interest and simultaneously keep them at bay. You bitch. Fuck out of here. Throughout Europe, kings and princes knew that a marriage with Elizabeth would seal an alliance between England and any nation. The King of Spain wooed her, as did the Prince of Sweden and the Archduke of Austria. She politely refused them all. The great diplomatic issue of Elizabeth's day was posed by the revolt of the Flemish and Dutch lowlands, which were then possessions of Spain. Should England break its alliance with Spain and choose France as its main ally on the continent, oh god, no, not France. I guess they were tougher back then, thereby encouraging Flemish and Dutch independence. And they put a question mark here. I don't think it belongs here. By 1570, it had come to seem that an alliance with France would be England's wisest course. France had two eligible men of noble blood, the Dukes of Anjou and Alencon, brothers of the French king. Would either of them marry Elizabeth? Both had advantages, and Elizabeth kept the hopes of both alive. The issue simmered for years. The Duke of Anjou made several visits to England, kissed Elizabeth in public, even called her by pet names. She appeared to requite his affections. Meanwhile, as she flirted with the two brothers, a treaty was signed that sealed peace between France and England. By 1582, Elizabeth, Elizabeth felt she could break off the courtship in the case of the Duke of Anjou in particular. She did so with great relief. For the sake of diplomacy, she had allowed herself to be courted by a man whose presence she could not stand, and whom she found physically repulsive. Gross, uh, ugly simps. What a name! Oh, that's funny. Oh, cheers! Cheers to the cheers! Oh my! So Elizabeth is playing the game of power like all the way at the top. Get did you physically repulsive? Gross. Once peace between France and England was secured, she dropped the unctuous Duke as politely as she could. By this time, Elizabeth was too old to bear children. She was accordingly able to live the rest of her life as she desired, and she died the Virgin Queen. She left no direct heir, but ruled through a period of incomparable peace and cultural fertility. Well, yeah, it's funny that person. I'm pretty sure that's one of the two people that's still forever permanently blocked from my chat in this channel. But yeah, kudos to you, Virgin Queen. Uh, hope hope you didn't screw over your whole kingdom when you died, but you know direct heirs. Interpretation. Elizabeth had good reason not to marry. Okay, what are they? She had witnessed the mistakes of Mary, Queen of Scots, her cousin, resisting the idea of being ruled by a woman. The Scots expected Mary to marry and marry wisely. That's a lot of marrying going on there. To wed a foreigner would be unpopular. To favor any particular noble house would open up terrible rivalries. In the end, Mary chose Lord Darnley, a Catholic. In doing so, she incurred the wrath of Scotland's Protestants, and endless turmoil ensued. You just can't please them, can you? The damn peasants. You can't please them at all. Yeah, whatever. Elizabeth knew that marriage can often lead to a female ruler's undoing. By marrying and committing to an alliance with one party or nation, the queen becomes embroiled in conflicts that are not of her choosing, conflicts which may eventually overwhelm her or lead her into a feudal war. Also, the husband becomes the de facto ruler and often tries to do away with his wife, the queen, as Darnley tried to get rid of Mary. Elizabeth learned the lesson well. She had two goals as a ruler: to avoid marriage and to avoid war. She managed to combine these goals by dangling the possibility of marriage in order to forge alliances. Huh. So she wasn't a dummy. She was doing what was best for the people and for herself, of course, but mostly for herself. I mean, let's not get it twisted. The moment she committed to any single suitor would have been the moment she lost her power. Yep, that is true. She had to emanate mystery and desirability, never discouraging anyone's hopes, but never yielding. How did these people not, how did these men not catch on? Mhm. Through this lifelong game of flirting and withdrawing, Elizabeth dominated the country and every man who sought to conquer her. Yep, simps. As the center of attention, she was in control, keeping her independence above all. Elizabeth protected her power and made herself an object of worship. I would rather be a beggar and single than a queen and married, and you just happen to be a queen and single, huh? Queen Elizabeth the First. If that is your real name, Elizabeth. You like the sounds of this, Elizabeth? Seem to seems to be a name that's synonymous with a very strong-willed woman, Elizabeth. Yeah, relatable. I mean, if you actually want them to pursue you, don't let them ever catch you. They will always eventually give up because they will only chase you for so long, but if you want them to keep like they will stop pursuing you if they catch you. Well, her dad did the offlining of her mother. She's been through quite a lot. There was a point she was basically held for offlining herself till King Kilum all decided to have her spared. Oh wow. Yeah, Elizabeth the Second. Pretty sure that's a Moloch demon. I don't know. Like I hear there's a lot of people in your country that actually really did love that woman, and I'm like, she and all the rest of them seem god awfully corrupted. I don't know how you could love that. But I'm not really up on UK, British politics, England specifically, or any of them for that matter. I know there's a lot going on in Ireland right now. Okay, we made it to the first keys of power. Since power depends greatly on appearances, you must learn the tricks that will enhance your image. Refusing to commit to a person or group is one of these. When you hold yourself back, you incur not anger, but a kind of respect. Yeah, people love the aloofness. The tourists. I mean, I don't actually know anybody from England who appreciated the royal family all that much, to be honest. Why y'all still keep them around is beyond me. Monarchies are so many, many centuries ago an idea. You instantly seem powerful because you make yourself ungraspable. That's the thing. You get the moment they think they have you, they stop trying to get you. Rather than succumbing to the group or to the relationship as most people do, this aura of power only grows with time. As your reputation for independence grows, more and more people will come to desire you, wanting to be the one who gets you to commit. Desire is like a virus. If we see that someone is desired by other people, we tend to find this person desirable too. Oh shit, this shit's contagious? Oh my goodness. I don't know, I'm gonna need to quit my team and just decommit from everybody. Like everybody will love me. The moment you commit, the magic is gone. See, that's what I was thinking. You become like everyone else. Just normal as shit. People will try all kinds of underhanded methods to get you to commit. They will give you gifts, shower you with favors, all to put you under obligation, encourage the attention, stimulate their interest, but do not commit at any cost. Just keep playing hard to get. Yeah, I know. I've said it. I said it more than a couple of times, BG, that I don't know why all the bitches love me, but for some reason all the bitches seem to love me. It is kind of weird. Well, I mean, accept the gifts and favors if you so desire, but be careful to maintain your inner aloofness. This is where that line, oh, no, really, you shouldn't have. Like, if you ever get that line, that's an honest statement. Like, you really shouldn't have, because whatever you thought this was going to do, it's not going to do that. Sorry. You cannot inadvertently allow yourself to feel obligated to anyone, nor should you. Remember, though, the goal is not to put people off or to make it seem that you are incapable of commitment. Like the Virgin Queen, you need to stir the pot. Excite interest, lure people with the possibility of having you. You have to bend to their attention occasionally, then, but never too far. Aha. So you just play hard to get. Duh. Which isn't hard if you make yourself unobtainium. The Greek soldier and statesman, I'm going to butcher this, Alcibiades, played this game to perfection. It was Alcibiades who inspired and led the massive Athenian armada that invaded Sicily in 414 BC. When envious Athenians back home tried to bring him down by accusing him of trumped up charges, he defected to the enemy, the Spartans, instead of facing a trial back home. Then, after the Athenians were defeated at Syracuse, he left Sparta for Persia, even though the power of Sparta was now on the rise. Now, however, both the Athenians and Spartans courted Alcibiades because of his influence with the Persians, and the Persians showered him with honors because of his power over the Athenians and the Spartans. Oh, this is good. This guy with the really funny name, he's got all the influence. He made promises to every side but committed to none, and in the end he held all the cards. If you aspire to power and influence, try the Alcibiades tactic. Put yourself in the middle between competing powers. Lure one side with the promise of your help, the other side, always wanting to outdo its enemy, will pursue you as well. As each side vies for your attention, you will immediately seem a person of great influence and desirability. So just be social, but be aloof, be a cat. More power will accrue to you than if you had rashly committed to one side. To perfect this tactic, you need to keep yourself inwardly free from emotional entanglement. So while you're playing this very sketchy, dangerous game, don't let yourself fall in. Like you have to remain detached. That's the hard part. Is is doing the flirting and the courting and playing this game and not oopsidentally falling in first shot. At least one shot anyway. What is going on, my guy? Greetings. Because anytime you commit to a team, you alienate the other team. And to view all those around you as pawns in your rise to the top. Oh wow. So you kinda gotta be one of those ruthless savages. Maybe this isn't for everyone. You cannot let yourself become the lackey for any cause. That's true. They will try to exploit you. In the midst of the 1968 U.S. presidential election, Henry Kissinger made a phone call to Richard Nixon's team. Kissinger had been allied with Nelson Rockefeller, who had unsuccessfully sought the Republican nomination. Now Kissinger offered to supply the Nixon camp with valuable inside information on the negotiations for peace in Vietnam that were going on in Paris. He had a man on the negotiating team keeping him informed of the latest developments. The Nixon team gladly accepted his offer. At the same time, however, Kissinger also approached the Democratic nominee, Hubert Humphrey, and offered his aid. The Humphrey people asked him for inside information on Nixon, and he supplied it. Look, Kissinger told Humphrey's people, I've hated Nixon for years. In fact, he had no interest in either side. What he really wanted was what he got, the promise of a high-level cabinet post from both Nixon and Humphrey. Whichever man won the election, Kissinger's career was secure. Ah, he played them. Your team, Princess Kate. Is that a thing? Oh, yeah, I mean, I think that's what Cat Ninja was getting at. They bring in a lot of the dope. Yeah. I mean, if you watch the Royals, oh no, gross. I have no idea who that is. Maybe I'll find out. Maybe I'll fuck around and find out later. The winner, of course, was Nixon, which we do know because who the hell is Hubert Humphrey? And Kissinger duly went on to his cabinet post. Even so, he was careful never to appear too much of a Nixon man. When Nixon was reelected in 1972, men much more loyal to him than Kissinger were fired. Kissinger was also the only Nixon high official to survive Watergate and serve under the next president, Gerald Ford. He's from here. By maintaining a little distance, he thrived in turbulent times. Those who use this strategy often notice a strange phenomenon. People who rush to support of others tend to gain little respect in the process, for their help is so easily obtained, while those who stand back find themselves besieged with supplicants. Their aloofness is powerful, and everyone wants them on their side. Oh, oh, the Royals. Oh dear God, we're still talking about them. Gross, gross. You guys are gross. I actually find this that I've actually experienced this myself. The rushing to the support of others and gaining very little. In fact, losing. Sometimes you can have people lose respect for you for doing that. Crazy, but 100% true. However, yeah, you just kind of like fuck off and leave everybody like I don't know, be present, but don't be too easily available. It will definitely make people want your attention more. I've been on both sides of that. Like I had a hard to getter or two in my day. When Picasso, after early years of poverty, had become the most successful artist in the world, he did not commit himself to this dealer or that dealer, although they now besieged him from all sides with attractive offers and grand promises. Instead, he appeared to have no interest in their services. This technique drove them wild. As they fought over him, his prices only rose. Yes, yes, you have the supply and you are building a demand market by not committing. Yes, that's the law of supply and demand. That is why people who don't seem so readily available are in such high demand. Oh, I don't think so. I don't think I would, Heidi. Oh, you guys are funny. Is she really that cute? It sounds like everybody knows it but me, but I don't. Like I said, I don't really fucking care about what's going on in the royal family of England when I have so much bullshit going on in my own damn country. When Henry Kissinger, as a U.S. Secretary of State, wanted to reach detente with the Soviet Union, he made no concessions or conciliatory gestures, but courted China instead. This infuriated and also scared the Soviets. They were already politically isolated and feared further isolation if the United States and China came together. Kissinger's move pushed them to the negotiating table. The tactic has a parallel in seduction. When uh, when you want to seduce a woman, Stendhal advises court her sister first. Oh my. I don't know if that's a good idea. Stay aloof and people will come to you. If you become a challenge for them to win your affections, it will become a challenge for them to wait in your affections. As long as you imitate the wise virgin queen and stimulate their hopes, you will remain a magnet of attention and desire. I feel like this, I feel like this actually, I lost my train of thought for the red chat, damn it. Oh yeah, this actually would work better for women specifically, because men are much more easily manipulated in this regard. It's a lot more difficult to try to do this with women because most of the ones you would want to desire you have options of their own. Huh. Claire, I hate to break it to you, but almost every single law in the 48 laws of power are some level of manipulation in some regard. Like every single one of them. They're all about interpersonal interactions, and all of them in like any interaction is gonna contain some level of manipulation when you're trying to vie for power, especially like image. The Virgin Queen, the center of attention, desire, and worship, never succumbing to one suitor or the other. The Virgin Queen keeps them all revolving around her like planets, unable to leave her orbit but never getting any closer to her. Authority. Do not commit yourself to anybody or anything, for that is to be a slave to every man. Above all, keep yourself free of commitments and obligations. They are the device of another to get you into his power. My man Baltasar Gracian. Nailed it. I knew that it's okay. It's like a how-to book on game playing manipulation and winning at all costs. Yeah, I mean, the laws of power do require a certain level of ruthlessness to fully employ them. Like, I think there are levels to this shit, and I think with the right approaches and playing to your own strengths, but knowing what the laws are and what strengths you have yourself will show you how to, like, navigate the game. Worst case scenario, you know that there are people out there that exist like this, and you'll be able to identify them easier and be like, okay, these are these are the games they're playing. I identify them properly, and I can go ahead and interact with this person in whatever proper manner because you can't avoid people, like, and we all have been around wonderful people and shitty people, weak people and powerful people. How does one differentiate between friendly support and committing? It's confusing. I mean, there is a taking us all to the store would pay no attention to that cat carrier in the back seat. I mean, that's a really tough question because I don't do commitment very well myself. But I guess like being fully supportive, I guess, is committing. Like, I, I'm committed to the extent that like I agree with you, whatever, certain certain things. But even with the people who I truly, genuinely support, if I think you're wrong about some shit, I'm gonna like 100% like not back you on it. I'm gonna tell you like I think you're wrong. I'm not about the bullshit, so I'm not entirely sure if that is any more of an explanation. Like, but I mean, like this one just means like don't actually commit yourself to it. Like don't make any promise. Don't get yourself actually attached in any of these situations. Like you can be friendly, supportive, and not committed. Like the commitment is something you do yourself, I believe, in your own heart. Like, okay, an hour in and we made it to part two. Cat Ninjas the Munchies. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're not motivated for power, it's easy to not have to apply any of this. But in scenario, like everyone needs their power. Like everyone needs power. Like so, with no power, you become basically a slave to everyone else. It's kind of gross. This one right here, while I was scrolling through, I kind of stopped because this one's very relevant with a certain situation that's been going on nearby lately, last week. It is part two. Do not commit to anyone. Stay above the fray. And the judgment here is do not let people drag you into their petty fights and squabbles. Seem interested and supportive, but find a way to remain neutral. Let others do the fighting while you stand back, watch, and wait. When the fighting parties are good and tired, they will be ripe for the picking. You can make it a practice, in fact, to stir up quarrels between other people and then offer to mediate, gaining power as the go between. Man, that shit really resonates with me. The not getting dragged into other people's petty squabbles and bullshit. Don't take sides, because it's not my fight. Why the fuck would I take sides? I have no enmity with any of you. I could. I actually have plenty with all of you, but fuck, that's a different story. The kites, the crows, and the fox. This looks really long. Um, I'm gonna skip that. We're just gonna skip straight to the observance of the law. That was long. In the late 15th century, the strongest city-states in Italy, Venice, Florence, Rome, and Milan, found themselves constantly squabbling. Hovering above their struggles were the nations of France and Spain, ready to grab whatever they could from the weakened Italian powers. And trapped in the middle was the small state of Mantua, ruled by the young Duke Gianfrancesco Gonzaga. What a name. Uh, Mantua was strategically located in northern Italy, and it seemed only a matter of time before one of the powers swallowed it up and it ceased to exist as an independent kingdom. Oh no, you caught in the crossfire. I mean, I will say that I'm not entirely neutral. Definitely not entirely neutral. Definitely not also on anyone's side because no one is entirely on my side. So I tend to, like I said, if I got battles, I usually fight them myself. No, I got into that like taking side shit before. I stand by that decision, but I stand by this one as well. Gonzaga was a fierce warrior and a skilled commander of troops, and he became a kind of mercenary general for whatever side paid him best. In the year 1490, he married Isabel d'Este, daughter of the ruler of another small Italian duchy, Ferrara. Since he now spent most of his time away from Mantua, it fell to Isabella to rule in his stead. Isabella's first true test as ruler came in 1498 when King Louis VII. Did they just keep naming their fucking sons Louis? Speaking of squabbles or squabbles, it's squabob. I Bob. I was just talking about my net neutrality. Oh boy. Oh, if you only knew. If you only knew. Ah, yes, Beast Wizardland. And what is up with France always naming their kid, like all the French kings name their kid Louis? This is King Louis the Seventh of France, was preparing armies to attack Milan. In their usual perfidious fashion, the Italian states immediately looked for ways to profit from Milan's difficulties. Pope Alexander VI promised not to intervene, thereby giving the French carte blanche. The Venetians signaled that they would not help Milan either, and in exchange for this, they hoped the French would give them Mantua. The ruler of Milan, Lodovico Sforza, suddenly found himself alone and abandoned. He turned to Isabella d'Este, one of his closest friends, also rumored to be his lover, and begged her to persuade Duke Gonzaga to come to his aid. Isabella tried, but her husband balked, for he saw Sforza's cause as hopeless. Sounds kind of hopeless. And so, in 1499, Louis swooped down on Milan and took it with ease. Yeah, you got abandoned. Oh my. I think he missed that part, Kat. I don't think he was here for the first bit of the stream when we talked about old Queen No Jizabeth, the Virgin Queen. Isabella now faced a dilemma. If she stayed loyal to Lodovico, the French would now move against her, but if, instead, she allied herself with France, she would make enemies elsewhere in Italy, compromising Mantua once Louis eventually withdrew. And if she looked to Venice or Rome for help, they would simply swallow up Mantua under the cloak of coming to her aid, yet she had to do something. The mighty King of France was breathing down her neck. She decided to befriend him as she had befriended Lodovico Sforza before him, with alluring gifts, witty, intelligent letters, and the possibility of her company, for Isabella was famous as a woman of incomparable beauty and charm. She'd a pretty one. My bad, Heidi. That one just snuck out. Like, sometimes the jokes just write themselves, and I can't help it. But I mean, you died a virgin. You queen no Jezebeth. In 1500, Louis invited Isabella to a great party in Milan to celebrate his victory. Leonardo da Vinci built an enormous mechanical lion for the affair. When the lion opened its mouth, it spewed fresh lilies, the symbols of French royalty. See, they're using lilies as their symbol. Like, yeah, that's how you know they're weak. I don't think Darth Hideous wears a wig. Why would I wear a wig? I'm a disembodied voice. At the party, Isabella wore one of her celebrated dresses. She had by far the largest wardrobe of any of the Italian princesses, and, just as she had hoped, she charmed and captivated Louis, who ignored all the other ladies vying for his attention. She soon became his constant companion, and in exchange for her friendship, he pledged to protect Mantua's independence from Venice. Okay, so we have an alliance. We have definitely forged an alliance here. This is awesome. Ah, men of great abilities are slow to act, for it is easier to avoid occasions for committing yourself than to come well out of a commitment. Yeah, it's definitely easier to avoid getting yourself into a than for it working out well for you. Such occasions test your judgment. It is safer to avoid them than to emerge victorious from them. One obligation leads to a greater one, and you come very near to the brink of disaster. Balthazar Gracian wrote a lot of really great shit, and I'm glad that Robert Greene really, really likes him, because I really like the fact that he keeps putting him in here. Amazing thinker. I should probably go over his writings. As one danger receded, however, another more worrying one arose, this time from the south in the form of Caesar Borgia. Starting in 1500, Borgia had marched steadily northward, gobbling up all the small kingdoms in his path in the name of his father, Pope Alexander. Isabella understood Cesare Caesar perfectly. He could neither He could be neither trusted nor in any way offended. He had to be cajoled and kept at arm's length. Isabella began by sending him gifts: falcons, prize dogs, perfumes, and dozens of masks, which she knew he always wore when he walked the streets of Rome. She sent messengers with flattering greetings, although these messengers also acted as her spies, and at one point Caesar asked if he could house some troops in Mantua. Isabella managed to dissuade him politely, knowing full well once the troops were quartered in the city, they would never leave. Yeah. Don't ever let uh, a marching tyrant quarters troops in your city. Just that's it's just good advice. Even while Isabella was charming Caesar, she convinced everyone around her to take care never to utter a harsh word about him, since he had spies everywhere and would use the slightest pretext for invasion. When Isabella had a child, she asked Caesar to be the godfather. She even dangled in front of him the possibility of a marriage between her family and his. Somehow it all worked, for although elsewhere he seized everything in his path, he spared Mantua. So I'm gonna take everything else, but I'm gonna leave this alone. Yeah, don't let them quarter the troops in your city, or they're gonna take your city. In 1503, Caesar's father Alexander died, and a few years later, the new pope Julius II went to war to drive the French troops from Italy. When the ruler of Ferrara, Alfonso, Isabella's brother, sided with the French, Julius decided to attack and humble him. Once again, Isabella found herself in the middle. She finds herself in the middle a lot. I'm just saying. The Pope on one side, the French and her brother on the other. She dared not ally herself with either, but to offend either would be equally disastrous. Again, she played the double game at which she had become so expert. On the one hand, she got her husband Gonzaga to fight for the Pope, knowing he would not fight very hard. On the other, she let French troops pass through Mantua to come to Ferrara's aid. While she publicly complained that the French had invaded her territory, she privately supplied them with valuable information to make the invasion plausible to Julius. She even had the French pretend to plunder Mantua. It worked once again. The Pope left Mantua alone. She's doing a really good job of protecting her interests. She is the film sandwich. Oi, 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 all the oys and theys. But yeah, for about 15 years now, she's managed to protect this city. So in 1513, after a lengthy siege, Julius defeated Ferrara and the French troops withdrew. Worn out by the effort, the Pope died a few months later. Oh, you did all that warring just to die at the end? You won and you still died? Oh, you suck. With his death, the nightmarish cycle of battles and petty squabbles began to repeat itself. Oh, good grief. A great deal changed in Italy during Isabella's reign. Popes came and went. Caesar Borgia rose and then fell. Venice lost its empire. Milan was invaded. Florence fell into decline. And Rome was sacked by the Habsburg Emperor Charles V. Through all of this, tiny Mantua not only survived but thrived. Its court the envy of Italy. Its wealth and sovereignty would remain intact for a century after Isabella's death in 1539. So, Savage Castro. So, through all that bullshit, she played the game of politics and diplomacy by never fully committing to anything. She managed. Well, I mean, she was committed to protecting her tiny little kingdom of Mantua. That was all she cared about, and she played the game precisely to the point where she could do that, maintain the independence, and not piss anybody off too bad, lest she get her shit destroyed. Very clever. Notice again, it's a woman doing it. It seems like women can do this little game way better than men's can. Although it's a seduction art, so what's that? Eagle and the sow. An eagle built a nest on a tree and then hatched out some eaglets, and a wild sow brought her litter under the tree. The eagle used to fly off after her prey and bring it back to her young, and the sow rooted around the tree and hunted in the woods, and when night came she would bring her young something to eat. And the eagle and the sow lived in neighborly fashion, and a grimalkin laid her plans to destroy the eaglets and the little sucking pigs. She went to the eagle and said, "Eagle, you had better not fly very far away. Beware of the sow, she is planning an evil design. She is going to undermine the roots of the tree. You see, she is rooting all the time." Then the grimalkin went to the sow and said, "Sow, you have not got a good neighbor. Last evening I heard the eagle saying to her eaglets, 'My dear little eaglets, I am going to treat you to a nice little pig. Just as soon as the sow is gone, I will bring you a little young suckling pig.' From that time the eagle ceased to fly out after prey, and the sow did not go any more into the forest. The eaglets and the young pigs perished of starvation, and the grimalkin feasted on them." That's disturbing. Fables by Leo Tolstoy. That was disturbing. Why in all these Tolstoy fables can all these fucking animals talk? Animals don't fucking talk. This is a Disney movie or something? Stop giving animals human condition. It's a terrible condition. Interpretation. Isabella d'Este understood Italy's political situation with amazing clarity. Once you took the side of any of the forces in the field, you were doomed. The powerful would take you over, the weak would wear you down, any new alliance would lead to a new enemy, and as this cycle stirred up more conflict, other forces would be dragged in until you could no longer extricate yourself. Eventually, you would collapse from exhaustion. So she just kind of stayed out of it. Isabella steered her kingdom on the only course that would bring her safely through. She would not allow herself to lose her head through loyalty to a duke or a king, nor would she try to stop the conflict that raged around her. That would only drag her into it. And in any case, the conflict was to her advantage. If the various parties were fighting to the death and exhausting themselves in the process, they were in no position to gobble up Mantua. The source of Isabella's power was her clever ability to seem interested in the affairs and interests of each side while actually committing to no one but herself and her kingdom. I heard she was also insanely hot, so that's also a bit of power in that. Queen Isabella giving me Kim Cave. Play people manipulate, but make sure she still keeps her kingdom and closets full of clothes at the end and not caring about much else. I mean, Kim Kardashian in a nutshell, right? They talk to each other in their animal language. We just don't speak their lingo fluently. Yeah, but I mean, when they write these novels, they give them human emotions and human thoughts. Like, wow, this is. Uh, once you step into a fight that is not of your own choosing, you lose all initiative. The combatant's interests become your interests. You become their tool. Learn to control yourself, to restrain your natural tendency to take sides and join the fight. Be friendly and charming to each of the combatants, then step back as they collide. With every battle, they grow weaker, while you go stronger with every battle you avoid. Yep. Do not get dragged into their bullshit. This is not your fight, not your circus, not your monkeys. Do not let them play you. Just stay out of it. When the snipe and the mussel struggle, the fisherman gets the benefit. Amen. Ancient Chinese saying. Kind of on Chinese to just say it very, very plainly. Keys to power in part two. To succeed in the game of power, you have to master your emotions. This is the hardest shit right here is not getting emotionally entangled while you play both sides against the middle. Because you do have your own feelings too. Nobody's a I mean, there are sociopaths, but psychopaths and whatnot. But yeah, not my circus, not my monkeys. Fuck that shit. Oh shit. I'm lighting the wrong thing. Cheers. Ah. But even if you succeed in gaining such self control, you can never control the temperamental dispositions of those around you. So even if you can completely master your emotions and become detached from everything, it still doesn't give you power over everyone else automatically. And this presents a great danger. Most people operate in a whirlpool of emotions, constantly reacting, churning up squabbles and conflicts. Yes, the emotionally unstable, the reactive types, the easily offended, the I mean, these people are they're not patient. They react violently. They're very insecure usually. Your self-control and autonomy will only bother and infuriate them. They will try to draw you into the whirlpool, begging you to take sides in their endless battles. We all got some dramatic people we know, or maybe even some of us are this type of people who just gotta be involved in the drama all the time and want to drag you into it too. Like, I don't care if you want to be involved in that shit, but you don't need to drag me into it. I don't want anything to do with it. Or to make peace for them. If you succumb to their emotional entreaties little by little, you will find your mind and time occupied by their problems. Your mind occupied by their problems. Do not allow whatever compassion and pity you possess to suck you in. You can never win in this game. The conflicts can only multiply. Yeah, I can tell. Or some things of that regard, anyway. Try might be try might be a little bit more accurate. On the other hand, you cannot completely stand aside, for that would cause needless offense. See, this is where I fail because to play the game properly, you must seem interested in other people's problems, and I am sorry, I am not interested in your bullshit. I can't even pretend to be interested in your bullshit because I'm that disinterested that I can't even fake it. Even sometimes appear to take their side, but while you make outward gestures of support, you must maintain your inner energy and sanity by keeping your emotions disengaged. This sounds like a lot of fucking work. No matter how hard people try to pull you in, and they will, never let interest in their affairs and petty squabbles go beyond the surface. Give them gifts. Listen with a sympathetic look. Even occasionally play the charmer, but inwardly keep both the friendly kings and the perfidious bourgeois at arm's length. By refusing to commit and thus maintaining your autonomy, you retain the initiative. Your moves stay matters of your own choosing, not defensive reactions to the push and pull of those around you. Hashtag that. The price of. It doesn't say what the price of what. While a poor woman stood in the marketplace selling cheeses, a cat came along and carried off a cheese. Cats eat cheese. A dog saw the pilferer and tried to take the cheese away from him. The cat stood up to the dog, so they pitched into each other. The dog barked and snapped, the cat spat and scratched, but they could bring the battle to no decision. Let's go to the fox and have him referee them. These fucking talking animals all the time. Okay, so the fox is gonna referee. The cat finally suggested. Agreed, said the dog, so they went to the fox. The fox listened to their arguments with a judicious air. Foolish animals, he chided them. Why carry on like that? If both of you are willing, I'll divide the cheese in two, and you'll both be satisfied. Agreed, said the cat and the dog. So the fox took out his knife. Where did a fox get a knife? Hold on, y'all. This fox has a knife. We are now I got a really good feeling he's gonna stab him. So the fox took out his knife and cut the cheese in two, but instead of cutting it lengthwise, he cut it in the width. My half is smaller, protested the dog. The fox looked judiciously through his spectacles at the dog's share. You're right, quite right, he decided. So he went and bit off a piece of the cat's share. That will make it even, he said. When the cat saw what the fox did, she began to yowl. Just look, my part's smaller now. You know where this is going? I already figured out where this is going. Yeah, this fox is gonna, this fox is gonna eat your cheese. Uh, I support it. Yeah, well, hi, Inya. Good to see you. What does the fox say? I actually heard this once, and it's an awful sound. The fox again put on his spectacles and looked judiciously at the cat chair. Right you are, said the fox. Just a moment, and I'll make it right. He went and bit off a piece from the dog's cheese. This went on so long, with the fox nibbling first at the dog's, then at the cat's share, that he finally ate up the whole cheese before their eyes. This would be a treasury of Jewish folklore. Give a fox a knife and then let him eat the whole cheese. Fox you, dude. And then I'm gonna add a additional ending. After the fox ate up the whole cheese, the cat and the dog murdered him and ate Fox. Fox that guy. Slowness to pick up your weapons can be a weapon itself, especially if you let other people exhaust themselves fighting, then take advantage of their exhaustion. In ancient China, the kingdom of Qin once invaded the kingdom of Sing. Huan, the ruler of a nearby province, thought he should rush to Sing's defense, but his advisor counseled him to wait. Sing is not yet going to ruin, he said, and Qin is not yet exhausted. If Qin is not exhausted, we cannot become very influential. Moreover, the merit of supporting a state in danger is not as great as the virtue of reviving a ruined one. The advisor's argument won the day, and as he had predicted, Huan later had the glory both of rescuing Sing from the brink of destruction and then of conquering an exhausted Qin. He stayed out of the fighting until the forces engaged in it had worn each other down, at which point it was safe for him to intervene. Yep, you just let them fight it out. That's true. He did have a knife. No, never mind. My alternative ending is shite. That is what holding back from the fray allows you. Time to position yourself to take advantage of the situation once one side starts to lose. You can also take the game up a step by promising your support to both sides in a conflict while maneuvering so that the one to come out ahead in the struggle is you. This was what Castruccio Castrasani, ruler of the Italian town of Lucca in the 14th century, did when he had designs on the town of Pistoia. A siege would have been expensive, costing both lives and money, but Castruccio knew that Pistoia contained two rival factions, the Blacks and the Whites, which hated each other. Oh my God, we're about to do a racism, y'all. Pardon me, Robert Greene, shame on you for doing this racism. He negotiated with the blacks, promising to help them against the whites, and then, without their knowledge, he promised the whites he would help them against the blacks. Oh man, we're doing so much racism. Stopped in to say hi and like the thumb button. Going to get the kid in bed and might be back. Hope everyone gets all powerful. Oh, we're definitely getting there. If we don't get banned for doing the racisms. And Castruccio kept his promises. He sent an army to a black-controlled gate to the city, which the sentries, of course, welcomed in. Meanwhile, another of his armies entered through a white-controlled gate. The two armies united in the middle, occupied the town, killed the leaders of both factions, ended the internal war, and took Pistoia for Castruccio. Oh, you didn't know it was a trap? You had to know it was a trap. Oh my goodness, how did you not know it was a trap? Preserving your autonomy gives you options when people come to blows. You can play the mediator, broker the peace while really securing your own interests, or you can pledge support to one side and the other may have to court you with a higher bid, or like Castruccio, you can appear to take both sides, then play the antagonists against each other. Oftentimes, when a conflict breaks out, you are tempted to side with the stronger party or the one that offers you apparent advantages in an alliance. This is risky business, and this would be most people's first instinct would be to ally with the one who appears to be the stronger in the bunch. Catnip says it's a trap. It probably is. First, it is often difficult to foresee which side will prevail in the long run. But even if you guess right and ally yourself with the stronger party, you may find yourself swallowed up and lost, or conveniently forgotten when they become victors. Side with the weaker, on the other hand, and you are doomed. But play a waiting game and you cannot lose if you just be a little more patient. In France's July Revolution of 1830, after 3 days of riots, the statesman Talleyrand, this guy just doesn't go away, does he? Now elderly, sat by his Paris window, listening to the pealing bells that signaled the riots were over. Turning to an assistant, he said, "Ah, the bells, we're winning." "Who's we, mon prince?" the assistant asked. Gesturing for the man to keep quiet, Talleyrand replied, "Not a word. I'll tell you who we are tomorrow." He well knew that only fools rush into a situation, that by committing too quickly you lose your maneuverability. People also respect you less. Perhaps tomorrow, they think, you will commit to another, different cause since you gave yourself so easily to this one. Oh my. Good fortune is a fickle god and will often pass from one side to the other. Commitment to one side deprives you of the advantage of time and luxury of waiting. Let others fall in love with this group or that. For your part, don't rush in, don't lose your head. Finally, there are occasions when it is wisest to drop all pretense of appearing supportive and instead to trumpet your independence and self-reliance. Let's go. The aristocratic pose of independence is particularly important for those who need to gain respect. George Washington recognized this in his work to establish the young American Republic on firm ground. As president, Washington avoided the temptation of making an alliance with France or England, despite the pressure on him to do so. He wanted the country to earn the world's respect through its independence. Although a treaty with France might have helped in the short term, in the long run he knew it would be more effective to establish the nation's autonomy. Boy, was he ever right about that. Europe would have to see the United States as an equal power. We ended up becoming way more than that. We ended up becoming the premier power of the world around that time, defeating the greatest navy in the world at the time, the British, and throwing their tyranny off. If only we still had that mm, constitution as a people, the fortitude for that. If only we still had the balls. Remember, you have only so much energy and so much time. Every moment wasted on the affairs of others subtracts from your strength. You may be afraid that people will condemn you as heartless, but in the end, maintaining your independence and self reliance will gain you more respect and place you in a position of power from which you can choose to help others on your own initiative. Image a thicket of shrubs in the forest. One shrub latches on to another, entangling its neighbor with its thorns, the thicket slowly extending its impenetrable domain. Only what keeps its distance and stands apart can grow and rise above the thicket. Authority. Regard it as more courageous not to become involved in an entanglement than to win in battle where there is already one interfering fool. Take care that there shall not be two. Gracian again. I like that image of the thicket though, because yeah, like it does kind of swallow up everything in its path, except for that which can stand apart and away from it. You don't want to be caught in the thicket, or You get swallowed up too. Nasty thing that it is. We're almost there. This was a fucking long one. I was like, oh no, 2 parts. Should I do this in 2 episodes? But we made it. To the reversal. Both parts of this law will turn against you if you take it too far. See, that's kind of how I feel about this, which is why this whole thing seems like a lot of work and a dangerous fucking game to play. Like, lots of intricacies and delicate bullshit afoot in this one. The game proposed here is delicate and difficult. If you play too many parties against one another, they will see through the maneuver and will gang up on you. Yeah, this also sounds like a lonely game to play. Sure enough, if you keep your growing number of suitors waiting too long, you will not inspire desire, but distrust. See, like I said earlier, like they'll catch on to that shit eventually. People will start to lose interest. Eventually, you may find it worthwhile to commit to one side, if only for appearance's sake, to prove you are capable of attachment. Even then, however, the key will be to maintain your inner independence, to keep yourself from getting emotionally involved. Preserve the unspoken option of being able to leave at any moment and reclaim your freedom if the side you are allied with starts to collapse. The friends you made while you were being courted will give you plenty of places to go once you jump ship. And this is why you don't commit to anyone. It's only law 20. We got a long way to go. We have 28 more. I mean, there are 48 laws to the laws of power, and we are getting America is so fitting for this. Jumping in all over the place while trying to strategically, manipulatively have our interests by ultimately number one wound up depleting us of everything with even more enemies. Yes. We don't do this game very well at all, Heidi. We do this game very poorly. We have issue with tripping over our own hubris, and our leaders are horribly corrupted and more interested in using forever wars for their own benefit, like everything else. Yeah, it is a commitment. It's a commitment I made. That's why I switched to doing 3 a week now. Doing one a week would take for fucking ever. But I figure if I do 3 a week, I can get through it relatively quickly, couple months. I might change it up at some point if it gets to be just too monotonous. I might uh draw it out a little further and I don't know, do something else. Like we had fun doing the hangout and Thanksgiving and chill. That was a lot of fun. People seemed to really like that. That was quite popular. Um, the Rumble stream that I did with Cat Ninja on Sunday was actually very well viewed. Like I think I got more views on Rumble than I've gotten since I basically came back to the doing the streaming again regularly. Hey, how did America the baby country become the most powerful? It's like high school and America was the new toy. Yeah, so yeah, if y'all don't follow me on Rumble, I do I do be popular over there. My 40 followers, my 130 views on a stream. Nobody subscribed though, so I don't know. They must not like me that much, but I was good enough to watch for the night, so what do y'all think about not committing? I mean, Juju said she already lives the commitment free life. I mean, I don't I dig the 3 a week, but if some are super long, adjusting is probably a good idea for everyone. Uh, they don't seem to be super long. Like this one is a super long one. This is the first ever two-parter. No one should watch The Outsiders Thanksgiving. Oh, that shit was hilarious. Uh, Juju was killing it. The problem with Rumble streams is once they're over, the chat goes away. You can't get it back. So there's no chat replay to see who was all there hanging out. That's a bummer, but it is what it is. That was fun. Anyone curious to know what we're doing Wednesday? Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. So you have to play a fool. I didn't know that. Next time I will up my. Oh, so you're gonna go even more ham in the chat because the replay won't be there? Not Law 22, Law 21. Small mouse, and this is only Law 20. But once we get to Law 24, we'll officially be halfway there. Well, all my friends, any questions, concerns, emotional outbursts? I am a little bit beat. That was a lot of reading. And I think I'm just gonna go ahead and find something fun to watch on the tubes or on the rumbles and chill out for the rest of the night. I will see all of you fine folks back here on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Yeah, that was a lot. Thank you. I try. For play a sucker to catch a sucker. That ought to be fun. I don't know how the great thing about being a person of modest to high intelligence is you can play a dumb person, but a dumb person can't play a genius. Thank you for coming, Claire. Sorry you let your emotional outburst out somewhere else because I could have made funny jokes about it. Everyone should send Mousy their most invasive plants. Shower her with gifts to show her that you're not on her side. Adios, amigos y amigas. Good night, Heidi. Good night, Cat Ninja. Bijou, Mousy, Claire, everyone else who's lurking about. I will see you back here Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Law 21. See you all then. Till then, take care. Have a great rest of your evening and a dope tomorrow. Hideous